Your nightly news with Tom Johnson begins now.
A 5-year-old boy has sustained serious injuries after being run over by a trailer at Latrobe yesterday evening. Emergency services attended the scene shortly before 5 o'clock after a camper van was driven off by the driver who didn't know the boy was playing on the side ladder. The driver and the child were not known to each other. The 5-year-old was transported to the Launceston General Hospital with his injuries assessed as non-life-threatening. Anybody with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Meanwhile, the Westpac rescue helicopter has been used to assist with 2 separate injured bushwalkers in the state south. A 63-year-old woman was flown from a walking track at Conningham with a broken leg, and a 64-year-old woman was also taken to hospital with a suspected broken leg from the Mount Direction Conservation Area near Risdon. Both women are expected to make a full recovery. Police have narrowly avoided serious injury after a stolen truck reversed at them in Launceston last night. Officers pulled the truck over for a traffic offence in Nunnan at 10 p.m. on the East Tamar Highway. They were preparing to speak with the driver when he reversed into their car. The vehicle was later dumped nearby.
I'm just glad that no one was hurt. And this was a very dangerous incident. The people responsible for this clearly have no regard for community safety.
3 people wearing hooded jumpers were seen leaving the area near Allenvale Road. Anyone who witnessed the incident is urged to contact police. Well, the tills are ringing, the tables are taken and the customers keep lining up. Tasmanians have flocked back to coastal towns in droves, and nowhere was the buzz bigger than BRIDPORT.
Boats, blue skies, breakfast. It's back to the shack in BRIDPORT. The long wait for a long weekend away, finally over.
Well, look at the weather today, it's magnificent. We've been for a walk down the beach.
Yeah, we've been waiting since about March to get back down, haven't we? Yeah.
I have done some walks and stuff.
Across the state, Tasmanians are returning to getaways sorely missed during the COVID shutdown. The coastal playground packed, to put it lightly. Traffic busy on the roads and on the water. Meals and coffee flew out of the kitchen at the BRIDPORT cafe. But for months, RYLINDA ARMISON watched BRIDPORT become a ghost town. Did you think you were going to get through it?
No. But today I think we'll make it. Yeah.
At the pub, MARTELLO was flat off his feet and happier for it.
We opened for dinner last night. It was a tough one because we could only have 40 in the venue. But we tried to get our bookings in early. Then we just, the people that missed out, we just asked if they'd come later.
The regulars still aren't allowed to stand at the bar. They're not complaining. How could anyone in a town like this?
Paradise on earth, mate. Paradise on earth. Magnificent.
MCCOMISH, 7 Tasmania News.
Meanwhile, adventurers have bravely taken to the tracks around Mount Wellington despite the very chilly conditions. It hovered below zero most of the day, but nothing was going to stop the first visitors to the pinnacle in months, and they were treated to spectacular clear skies. Further down the mountain, groups were getting together for the first time in a long while.
How nice is it to be able to see everyone again?
Awesome.
Were you able to get out in nature as much as you wanted?
No.
But now here you are.
Yeah.
The question is whether those excitement levels will stay as high when school returns this week. The relaxing of restrictions has meant a ceremony marking Tasmania's efforts in the Boer War was able to go ahead in Hobart today. Organisers had to make last-minute arrangements to ensure the event could go ahead, commemorating the efforts of more than 800 soldiers in South Africa.
A solemn and silent moment, laying down flowers in memory of fallen soldiers, paying respect for their sacrifice in the Boer War more than a century ago. Gracie Ryan's great-great-grandfather was one of the soldiers out on the battlefield.
I came out here to put the flowers down and so we can remember the people that fought in the war for us.
The war, fought in South Africa from October 1899 to May 1902, had a contingent of more than 800 Tasmanian soldiers.
42 died
because of the war. 850 men went, 850 soldiers, and a number of horses, and a number of nurses left as well. And they left on their own accord, financed themselves, and done a mighty job.
This year's ceremony was initially cancelled due to coronavirus, but was able to go ahead on a much smaller scale.
We would have had a large crowd. The band would have been here, the reenactors, the horse soldiers, the cadets, but that's for next year.
A handful of people took part in the small ceremony, others returning throughout the day to lay flowers and pay their respects. Gone, but never forgotten in our hearts. Ebony ABBLITT, 7 Tasmania News.
As restrictions across the state ease, more retailers are reopening their doors to customers. But for many business owners, it's not just a matter of encouraging people back into their store. They're also facing issues with stock.
While the coronavirus pandemic has hit the back pockets of many Australians, retailers who've finally been able to open up again are now grappling with another challenge.
Some of the labels that we stock in the store here, that we'd ordered for our spring-summer collections, they've actually cancelled production of that, and I assume that's due to the uncertainty of their retailers taking the stock that they've pre-ordered.
A global problem, and Tasmania is not immune.
Even if the countries are now opening up, there's such a backlog because they haven't been operating within their factories that it's simply causing problems getting that kind of stock into stores.
Suppliers struggling to purchase raw materials with compromised supply chains and a lack of workers to produce the goods, just some of the issues faced. The pandemic has wiped out $1 billion nationally from the retail sector in March alone, with losses in April far worse than that. The Treasurer this week announcing Australia is in recession, which will likely only cause more pain for retailers.
We know typically that every year we lose about 54,000 small businesses. I would predict that that's likely to be more.
An uphill battle for retailers just trying to stay afloat. Elizabeth O'Neill, 7 Tasmania News.
Another $12 million will be spent on the Northwest Coastal Pathway following erosion damage. The cash will go towards the Kui to Wynyard stretch of the track.
There'll be a focus initially on sections of the pathway which need erosion damage repaired right now so that the construction of the pathway can proceed, and then there is going to be a program of works which will continue over several years.
The 110-kilometre pathway will eventually link Latrobe through to Wynyard. Tasmanian BUSHCARE volunteers have finally been allowed back to nature for the first clean-up event since the pandemic hit. Long-term helpers working alongside new Tasmanians to keep our state clean and green.
It's a job we all detest, but one done with a smile by these dedicated BUSHCARE volunteers.
We come out once a month to remove weeds or do some replanting and just take care of the bush.
Trying to look after the beautiful land that we call home, really.
Long-termers and newbies working side by side to care for the environment at Waterworks Reserve. The site abuzz with the first event back since the pandemic hit, seeing an influx of keen volunteers.
It's good to meet new people. I mean, we're so new in Tassie, so just get to see some friendly faces and, yeah, be a part of the community.
Wanted to get involved in the community and just get to know like-minded people.
Carol has been taking part for 24 years and loves the input she can provide.
I enjoy it. I feel like it's a worthwhile activity. I love our natural bush and I'd like to take care of it.
Events from now on will be slightly different with social distancing and increased hygiene measures.
As a result of COVID and people getting out and exploring their local neighbourhoods, it looks like we're actually attracting some of the next generation of BUSHCARE volunteers, so we're really thrilled about that.
Louise Hobart, 7 Tasmania News.
The RACT is opening up its lifestyle rewards program to all Tasmanians. From now until August, the peak motoring body is allowing non-members free access to the service, which provides discounts at more than 70 businesses across the state, including petrol, accommodation and hospitality venues.
We really want to kickstart the Tasmanian economy, and that includes ensuring that Tasmanians can get out and about and make their dollar go further. Signing up to the rewards program will allow that, but will also ensure that those dollars get spent at Tasmanian businesses.
The program is also free to businesses wanting to advertise and offer discounted services to members. More information is available on the RACT website. Hobart Hurricanes players are preparing to hit the ground running once their forced hibernation comes to an end. Excitement is building as the clock ticks closer to the start of pre-season training later this month.
It's not the training they're used to, but they'll take what they can get. Hurricane stars Jake, Doran and Brooke HEPBURN back on hallowed ground after a long hiatus. Running drills at Blunston with superfan Charlie, very different to their normal off-season prep.
A weird time for us, going off, having to do our own fitness and our own, I suppose, preparation, and making sure until we had the right procedures in place.
Doran only played 2 matches for the Canes during BBL9 and says he's keen for more action during this summer's Big Bash. Missing the team environment, players have been forced to get creative.
Yeah, your backyard gets used a lot with your own gyms and sort of trying to set up ideas and use wheelie bins as weight racks and run by yourself out in the outdoors.
I think like everyone, it's just the social isolation and being used to being, a sports team around 15 other members of a team and training together. So I guess the challenges to us haven't been unique.
Cricket Tasmania has strict protocol training in line with national standards, ensuring a smooth transition when teams get back onto the field for good.
When we come in, it's training in smaller numbers, come in to train and then leave the premises straight away, and just making sure we're doing all the same things, washing hands, washing equipment, all of the same that the public's doing as well.
We're going to be back in action big time. We're going to have a fantastic squad. We're building on what we've achieved over the last couple of years, and we're hoping that everyone gets behind our team.
Ebony ABBLITT, 7 Tasmania News.
Good evening everyone. A freezing -7 at Ross overnight and still cold around the state today, with Burnie reaching 13 degrees, Hobart, Launceston and Devonport all 12. Around the state, King Island, Smithton, St Helens and Friendly Beaches all saw a top of 13, 12 degrees for Flinders Island and Grove, Low Head, Ouse and Strawn 11 and just 5 degrees in Lyawini. Low-level cloud can be seen over western, central and southern areas of Tasmania today due to onshore winds. Across Australia, low-level cloud also covered coastal areas of South Australia, Victoria, Queensland and the Northern Territory. Cloud over the Bight is trapped beneath a high-pressure system, while the remainder of the country is relatively cloud-free. Tomorrow's chart shows the strong high remaining over the Bight. The troughs seen over Queensland and Bass Strait have weakened. West to southwesterly winds tomorrow, 10 to 15 knots, grading to 15 to 25 knots about the south. Hobart, partly cloudy and 13 tomorrow, 12 degrees in Dover, cloudy and 12 in Ouse. Early fog and 13 in Launceston, Devonport, partly cloudy and 13, mostly sunny and 12 in Scottsdale. 13 and partly cloudy in Burnie tomorrow, a shower or 2 and 12 in Strawn, Stanley, cloudy and 13. And in the east, mostly sunny and 13 in St Helens, Swansea, 13 and partly cloudy, and Ross reaching a top of 11 with early fog. Looking on to Tuesday now, showers about the north, west and far south, fine elsewhere. Similar weather on Wednesday with fresh and gusty winds. And on Thursday, showers easing about western and central districts late in the day. Sunny in Perth and Adelaide tomorrow, 13 in Melbourne, showers and 17 in Sydney and 22 in Brisbane. And currently Hobart 8 degrees and partly cloudy, a cool 4 degrees in Launceston and mostly clear, and Devonport 6 and mostly clear. And Tom, that's the weather tonight.
And definitely time to rug up. Thank you very much for that, Chelsea. Well, that is all your news for now. Thank you so much for joining us and have a great night.